I'm not aware of the full details of that case. What I can do is look into it and write to the Assembly member in relation to what I can ascertain from the Mayor's Office for Policing and Crime and the MPS.
Sadiq Khan, it is being reported, may be on the New Year's honours list and in line for a knighthood for his work in political and public services.
I've been quite clear in my answer. I think Article 10 in the Human Rights Act is quite clear in relation to freedom of expression, freedom of speech.
A man harassed for his Christian views, while Sadiq Khan gets knighted. Is this the new face of British justice? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. In a shocking turn of events, a Christian man faces police scrutiny for his beliefs, while London's mayor basks in royal favour. What's really going on in the UK's corridors of power? Sadiq Khan's impending knighthood has ignited a firestorm of outrage across social media platforms. The London mayor's tenure has been marred by a staggering rise in crime rates and mounting public safety concerns.
You're having a laugh. Sadiq Khan, the man who has presided over record knife crime on London streets, a place where women and girls feel unsafe because of the huge rise in the spate of attacks against them under his watch.
There is obviously nuances involved in relation to the job of the police to make sure nobody's breaking the law. I don't know about the individual circumstances of the case.
A place where many tourists won't wear one on a night out in case they get robbed. A city where even he admits to feeling unsafe.
Statistics from the Office for National Statistics paint a grim picture. Knife crime has surged by 52%, robberies have spiked 59%, and burglaries have climbed 17%. These figures stand in stark contrast to Khan's claims of making London safer. The public's discontent is palpable. A petition against Khan's knighthood has gained remarkable traction, amassing over 50,000 signatures in just 48 hours. This groundswell of opposition reflects a deep-seated frustration with Khan's leadership and the perceived disconnect between his policies and the realities faced by everyday Londoners. Critics have raised serious questions about Khan's approach to extremism and terrorism. Some argue that his stance has been too lenient, potentially compromising the safety of London's residents. These concerns have fueled a perception that the city has become more dangerous under Khan's watch, despite his assurances to the contrary. The stark divide between Khan's impending honour and the struggles of ordinary Londoners is hard to ignore. While the mayor prepares to receive one of the highest accolades in British society, many residents grapple with a housing crisis and deteriorating living conditions. The contrast is jarring and has led many to question the criteria for awarding knighthoods. Is Khan's knighthood a reflection of genuine public service, or does it smack of political favoritism? This question has sparked a broader debate about the integrity of the honours system. Many argue that such prestigious awards should recognize tangible contributions to society rather than political connections or influence. As we examine Khan's record, a troubling picture emerges. Despite his claims of reducing poverty and pollution, the reality on the ground tells a different story. London's deterioration under Khan's leadership is evident in the rising crime rates, the housing crisis, and the general sense of unease among its residents. This controversy surrounding Khan's knighthood has opened up a wider discussion about the state of religious freedom in the UK. As we turn our attention to recent incidents involving Christian expression, we're left to wonder, is there a double standard at play in British society? While Khan prepares for his knighthood, another story unfolds that paints a disturbing picture of religious freedom in Britain. Imagine expressing your faith online, only to find the police at your door. For one Christian man, this wasn't just a hypothetical scenario. The incident, which saw police accompanied by a mental health advisor visiting a man's home over a social media post, has sent shockwaves through communities across the UK. It raises serious questions about the boundaries of free speech and the role of law enforcement in monitoring religious expression online. What exactly constitutes a threshold for police intervention in matters of faith? The answer seems increasingly unclear. This case isn't isolated. Reports of Christians facing scrutiny for their beliefs have been on the rise, creating a climate of unease among religious communities. The involvement of mental health advisors in these situations adds another layer of complexity. Are sincere expressions of faith now being pathologized? Critics argue this approach risks conflating religious conviction with mental instability, a dangerous precedent for a diverse society. The treatment of Christian expression in the UK appears to be under particular scrutiny. Some argue that other religious groups face less intense examination of their online activities. This perceived double standard has fueled debates about equality under the law and the state's approach to different faith communities. Public reaction to these incidents has been mixed. While some express alarm over the implications for free speech, others remain surprisingly indifferent. This divide in societal attitudes towards religious freedom reflects broader tensions in British culture about the role of faith in public life. Perhaps most concerning is the increasing frequency of such incidents across the UK. Statistics suggest a growing trend of legal and social consequences for expressing Christian beliefs. As these cases multiply, so do fears about the erosion of religious liberty in a nation once known for its commitment to freedom of conscience. Experts warn that the current climate could lead to further restrictions on free speech and religious expression. The implications for British society are profound. Will people of faith feel compelled to self-censor? How might this affect the rich tapestry of religious diversity that has long characterized the UK? As we grapple with these questions, one thing becomes clear. The intersection of faith, free speech, and law enforcement is more complex and contentious than ever before. The resolution of these issues will shape the future of religious freedom in Britain for generations to come. As we reflect on the stark contrast between Sadiq Khan's knighthood and the suppression of Christian expression, we're left with a troubling picture of modern Britain. On one hand, we have a mayor whose tenure has been marked by rising crime rates and public safety concerns, now poised to receive one of the nation's highest honors. On the other, we see ordinary citizens facing police scrutiny for expressing their religious beliefs online. This juxtaposition raises serious questions about the future of religious freedom and political accountability in the UK. Are we witnessing the erosion of fundamental rights that have long been cornerstones of British society? How can a democracy thrive when political figures are rewarded while citizens' voices are silenced? The growing frequency of incidents involving Christian expression is particularly concerning. It's not just about one man's encounter with the police, it's a trend that threatens the very fabric of religious liberty in Britain. As these cases multiply, so do fears about the future of free speech and religious diversity in the UK. So, where do we go from here? It's crucial that we, as citizens, stay informed and engaged. The protection of free speech and religious freedom isn't just the responsibility of politicians or the police, it's up to all of us. We need to question, debate, and challenge decisions that seem to prioritize political favor over public service. Only through active participation can we hope to preserve the values that have long defined British society.